15 psychological facts that will blow your mind. For centuries, scientists have attempted to better understand the human brain. While there's still plenty we don't know, many discoveries have helped us to better perceive how we think about and interpret the world around us. If you've ever wondered what was going on up there, here are 15 psychological facts that will blow your mind. Remember, if you like the video, then please subscribe to Always Improving, and don't forget to hit that notification bell, just so you don't miss out on future videos. Number 1. Decisions and the unconscious mind. Believe it or not, your unconscious mind does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to decision making. For example, if you want to buy a new computer, you may do your research and ask around for opinions. But it's your unconscious mind that does the processing of all this new information. Don't think of this as a bad thing. Your mind is assaulted with thousands of pieces of new information every day, and your unconscious mind processes those as well. The human brain has evolved so that this part of your mind does a lot of the work for you. So don't be afraid to trust your gut once in a while. Number 2. You're probably bad at multitasking. Sorry, but it's true. You may think you've mastered multitasking, but research continues to show that we humans can really only focus on one task at a time. Even if you try to do something as simple as talking to a friend on a run, you'll likely be less focused on your surroundings, potentially putting yourself in danger on a busy road. At the office, switching back and forth between tasks can negatively impact your quality and/or quantity of work at the end of the day. Keep this in mind when you're trying to figure out how to persuade your boss to lighten your workload. Number 3. Dopamine causes you to seek. You've probably heard that dopamine can cause all sorts of pleasures, encouraging people to pursue sex, drugs, and other destructive behaviour. But research shows that dopamine instead makes us want to seek out new information, which explains why no one can seem to put their phones down. Dopamine is responsible for fun stuff, like social media habits and constant email checking. The brain gets a kick from anticipating this new information, and the unpredictability of notifications and messages keeps us going back for more. It's one of those psychological tricks that works on anybody, keeping humans trapped in a constant loop. Scary, huh? Number 4. We're bad at predicting the future. Specifically, we're bad at predicting how we would act in a future predicament. You can say what you think you would do if faced with an accident, winning the lottery, or some other event, but it's unlikely that you can predict your emotional state with any kind of accuracy. Here's why. Even though you may experience highs and lows in your emotional state, such as when a family member dies or you get a promotion, the human brain has a way of stabilizing your happiness level. So you may think you'd be endlessly happy after receiving a large amount of money, but eventually that elation would level out. This pattern of thinking can also influence our buying habits and product feedback, even though these changes to material possessions probably won't improve our lives all that much. Number 5. We're copycats by nature. It's said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But our habits of empathy and imitation reach a bit deeper than that. If you watch someone take an action, the same neurons get to work in your own brain. Your brain knows that you're not the one taking the action. But those mirror neurons that allow your brain to experience the same thing ultimately help you better understand someone else's frame of mind. Humans are suckers for story, and our mirror neurons can also be stimulated by the images we form from merely hearing a story aloud. It's powerful stuff. Number 6. Specific, timed activity encourages group bonding. Need to get a group of people working together? Influence basic human behaviour by getting them synchronized, literally. Pick any synchronized action, such as chanting, singing, even walking, and watch the bonds form. From military exercises to cheering fans in a sports stadium, ritualized behaviour can make humans more willing to work together. Number 7. We are lazy, and that makes us efficient. Humans want to achieve the most amount of success possible. We just don't want to do too much work while we're getting there. This drive is just one of many psychological tricks that helps us to work best. Even our ancestors knew that things like food and water were essential for survival, but working too hard beyond that basic need could jeopardize safety and waste vital energy. Today, this behavioral practice leads to some interesting habits. When's the last time you read the entirety of a website? Why wouldn't you skim for the parts that interest you most? Don't you look for links that take you directly to the pages you're looking for? Masters of design create products and experiences that cater to this particular human tendency to do the least amount of work possible. Number 8. We crave the illusion of progress and productivity. Progress and productivity are natural human desires. But even the illusion of these accomplishments can provide the vital motivation needed to finish difficult projects. Have you ever made a trip to the office supply store and basked in the glow of a new planner, pack of sticky notes, and a set of fancy pens? You may not have actually done anything with them, but you just know they are going to make you a better worker. This is one of the psychological tricks behind reward programs. The closer you are to a goal, the faster you'll work to achieve it. That motivation drops after the reward is achieved, so smart companies have some other rewards lined up to catch customers that would otherwise try to step away. Number 9. The creative mind wanders. The mind wanders, and it annoys the crap out of neuroscientists, particularly during scientific studies. You might think your mind doesn't wander much, but studies show it could be wandering anywhere from 30 to 70% of the time, depending on your surroundings and activities. For example, driving long distances on a straight highway tends to be a perfect opportunity for mind wandering. This can be useful, especially if different parts of your brain have the opportunity to work on different problems. But zoning out can also make you unproductive, much like the fabled multitasking. Even though we're usually not aware when this mind wandering happens, we can be aware of certain triggers that make this behaviour more likely, such as surfing the internet or attending yet another meeting that could have been an email. Number 10. You think everyone is a sheep, except for you. Everyone likes to think that they aren't easily influenced. It implies a certain amount of control. Unfortunately, we're usually unaware that we're being influenced. Psychology 101 suggests that people are influenced by the decisions and influence of others. Most agree that this is true, just that they themselves are not so easily influenced, especially if they are asked about a subject they have no interest in. This is called the third-person effect, and research shows that humans have a strong resistance to being gullible, which again speaks to our human need for control and thus survival. Number 11. We fork over more money, so long as no one mentions money. We all know someone with the newest car models and designer clothes. These people assign a certain value to material objects and enjoy flashing dollar signs. So we're not talking about those individuals here. In a study surrounding a lemonade stand, customers were more likely to buy when the word money wasn't on the sign. Instead, the stand appealed to nostalgia and a sense of human connection, which can be triggered by the right buying experience between the seller and the buyer. So what should business owners do with this information? Focus more on connecting with customers, and the money should follow. Number 12. The weaker your opinion, the more you'll defend it. This is one of the more frustrating psychological facts for businesses. Consider this example. You love using a specific brand of TV. You have for years, and you're comfortable with it. At a friend's house, he tries to tell you how much better his TV is. This creates cognitive dissonance. Basically, it forces the brain to choose between altering existing beliefs or clinging to those existing beliefs. Which do you think is more desirable to the human brain? Remember, we're the species that wants the most outcome for minimum input. Why do you think it's easier for companies to hold on to existing customers than recruit new ones? The more unsure you are, the harder you'll fight for your established beliefs, which explains why political arguments rarely go well. Number 13. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. The human brain can only process so much information at a time. When faced with too many choices, the brain is less likely to make a careful, informed decision. And yet, we always want more, and more. We don't like to be limited. When you're looking for a new pair of jeans, you want the whole rack, not a few different choices. But here's the thing. Give us more than 3 or 4 choices, and we'll freeze. It's an overload of information, but our good old friend dopamine will push us to ask for more options than we can realistically process. Companies in particular should keep this in mind when selling a product, and consumers should keep it in mind before they have a breakdown in the dressing room. Number 14. You're drawn to food, sex, and danger. Yes, you. You can thank your ancestors for this one. It all has to do with survival. You need to know if you can eat something to keep living, have sex with something to procreate, or if you need to avoid something that will kill you. This, unfortunately, is one of the psychological facts responsible for your reaction to a horrific crime scene or accident. Keep in mind, you won't necessarily act on these things, but you will at least notice them. Number 15. If you don't laugh at social media, you're doing it wrong. By definition, you need to have some kind of physical reaction for an interaction to be considered social. So if you're just going through your day, liking posts and sending emails, you're not using social media to the fullest. Laughter is one of the most notable physical reactions and is essential to the social media experience. There you have it. 15 psychological tricks, tips and facts that'll help you better understand the space between your ears.